GM, everyone. Welcome to the Fireside Chat presented by the creators, Own the Doge, and Moonthread Studios with special guests Dan Romero, Jesse Pollak, Jack Dishman, Heat Tyke, and Toadyhawk. But before we get started, we have Toki from the base team to give a quick disclaimer.
Awesome. Thank you, Wayne, and to the base creators team for hosting this. Excited to tune into this Fireside Chat. We got a super stacked lineup today. But before we jump in, a quick disclaimer. Today's conversation is for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute investment or legal advice. The views expressed are our own and do not represent Base or Coinbase. Nothing shared should be considered endorsement by us, Base or Coinbase. And that's all from me. Hope y'all enjoy the combo. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Toki. And a huge thanks to the Base and Coinbase team for giving us a stage on the Build on Base X account. We all truly appreciate it. My name is Lynn Mosqueda. I am founder of Moonthread Studios, as well as the Creators Core team member.
I'm Ryan Kagi, Creators Core team member.
Smoke out there.
I'm not in the adult club, but now I am. I am CEO of Own the Doge, an official Kokoro, as well as a co-founder of the Creators. Amazing to be here.
I'm Keith, Creators co-founder and Stellar Extinction co-founder as well.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel. I go by RachelOnchain. I'm the founder of Onchain Media. I'm a media advisor to Own the Doge. I also work with the creators and very excited to be here today. Some of you in the Base ecosystem might have seen the hundreds of spaces and podcasts and content I create. So yeah, very happy to be here today.
Awesome. And these are your hosts for today. So today, again, we will be talking to Dan Romero, co-founder of Farcaster, Jesse Pollak, head of Base and Coinbase Wallet, Jack Dishman, Clanker, technical co-founder. We've also got
Toadyhawk, the founder of Betrmint. We've got TK, founder of Noice. We've also got Jake, the founder of QRcoin.
Awesome. We also have the links for every guest, project, and sponsor featured on the show, along with direct access to all the tools we're building on the creators.com/links.
And for today's disclaimer, we might cue to that now. Today's conversation is for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute investment or legal advice. The views expressed are their own and do not represent any affiliated company the hosts are associated with. Nothing shared should be considered endorsement by any host or the respective company.
All right, let's get started, y'all. So up first on our roundtable discussion, let's go. Let's start with Dan. Is Dan out there?
I'm here.
Hi. So Dan, tell us, who are you? What do you do? Who are you with? For those that don't know.
Yeah, so Dan Romero. I am one of the co-founders of Farcaster.
Awesome. And Jesse, I feel like everyone knows Jesse, but Jesse.
Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, creator of Base. If you don't know what Base is, it's a global economy that we're building. We get to build it with all the awesome people here, as well as folks like Dan. And then I also get to work on Coinbase Wallet, which we're in the middle of rewriting right now. And it's starting to get really good. And it's built on top of Farcaster, Zora, XMTP, tons of other protocols. And we're just super excited to be building with all these incredible builders.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesse. And Jack, you out there?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah,
What's
super
up?
nice. Thanks for having me on. I'm building Clanker. It's a Farcaster and Base native token launcher, AI capabilities. And super glad to be here.
We're all happy to be that you're here. So awesome. We have so many fabulous people on stage. I know Ryan has our first question.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. And we kind of just want to open this up to kind of like a group fireside chat on just, where do you guys feel that the next wave of adoption is coming from, whether that's from apps, creators, or from culture. So whoever's kind of feeling most energized about this question, feel free to chime in first, and kind of let's have a little discussion about this.
Dan, I feel like you and I could probably riff on this all day. One thing I've been saying a lot. I've been saying creators, kind of like the Ballmer clip, because I feel like for the last 2 years on the base side, we've been very focused on builders because we felt like that's really what we needed. We needed to have builders starting to bring in these apps that people could actually come and use. But if you look at the ecosystem now, if you look at things like Farcaster and you look at Zora and you look at Clanker and you look at Flanch, Rodeo, we're actually at the point where we have a bunch of really powerful creator tools. If you are creating video content, you can post it. If you are creating text content, you can post it. If you're creating podcasts, you can post it. And all of it's existing in this kind of new on-chain economy where creators earn more. And when you look at the global audience, there's hundreds of millions of creators, which is about 100x, 200x more than the current audience of developers. And so as we're thinking about kind of where does this next wave of on-chain adoption comes from, it's really going to be creators starting to come on chain, starting to use these new tools like Farcaster, like Clanker, and really starting to tell the story of why and how this new global economy actually works better for them.
Yeah, I would plus one that in that we're maybe a little bit of the reverse, where we spent the last few years very focused on getting people to use the social network, getting people to use Farcaster, kind of building a base. And we launched frames last year, which have now evolved into mini apps, which are much more fully functioning. And I think we've seen a lot more developer interest as we've evolved that primitive. But if we had done it in the opposite order, I think it would have been much harder, right? Like a developer primitive that doesn't have like a fast chain like Base or whatever, it doesn't work. Versus a world where we started with the social network, we added the developer primitive, then you have infrastructure like Base that people can build these apps on and reach actual users. So I'm very bullish both in the creator stuff that both you're doing as well as Base, and then the developer side of things, especially with a lot of these vibe coding tools. It's actually, you can kind of go from idea to deployed on-chain mini app in a day and actually reach users, and that I think is a pretty cool place to be.
Yeah, for me personally, I think it starts with the culture, whether it's a good meme or a good idea. And now with the infrastructure, whether it's cheap gas costs on Base or developer-friendly APIs on social primitives like Farcaster, allow anyone really with an idea to push to production in a very cost-effective way. And where maybe previously you had to have a full stack team of multiple engineers, now you can do it with just as an individual. So I'm really excited to see all of these unique, just from ideation to production in a very short amount of time. And I think we're just really getting started here.
Yeah, and I just put this tweet up that I love from another Jesse who runs Seed Club, who is talking about kind of software as this next new media format. And I think it plays a lot into what both Jack and Dan are saying here, where for the first time with vibe coding tools, with AI, you have the ability to go from an idea to an interactive experience that you've built in like seconds or minutes. And then that experience can actually get distributed through a feed like Farcaster, built in this global economy like Base. And I think that's almost like a whole new paradigm. And I feel like the people who are watching this, the people who are building this, are at the cutting edge of figuring out, okay, how does that paradigm actually work? And when we get it to work, which I think it's starting to work more and more every single day, my bet is that this is going to disrupt social media as we know it today, and really be the next thing that billions of people use every single day.
Absolutely. So this is a question for everyone. What are each of you most excited about when it comes to the next 6 months on chain?
I can go.
Well, okay.
Well, actually, go for it. Go
Jesse.
for it. I'll jump in afterwards.
I was gonna speak for our protocol engineer Lily. I think that the Clanker team is very excited for flash blocks. That'll unlock a lot for us. So yeah, let's just kind of kick things off.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many cool things coming. I mean, flash blocks, if those don't know, we're going to have 200 milliseconds on block times on Base in the next few weeks. That's going to be a huge win, 10x faster, way better consumer experience. And then we've also been working towards the launch of the new Coinbase wallet, which is in private beta right now. I think some folks here have it, but at the center of Coinbase wallet is now Farcaster, with a full social feed, with mini apps, kind of taking all the incredible work that Dan and team have done and all the incredible energy that's existing in the Farcaster community right now and bringing it to millions more people. And so I'm just really excited to kind of like get in the game on the Coinbase wallet side and start kind of putting a little bit more fuel on that fire and hopefully growing how much virality builders and creators can get through this network.
Yes, I'm excited for two things. One, the base team shipping like kind of general availability for the new Coinbase wallet with Farcaster feed. That is going to be, I think, the biggest thing that's happened in the network since maybe Frames. I think the second is it's a little slower build. I mean, it's technically already out and there are different competing technical standards, but I'm just very excited about the slow and steady progression around smart wallets. And so this idea of like going from kind of like the traditional, for those at home, EOA to kind of like this idea of like a smart contract-based wallet. I think for the average consumer, they don't need to necessarily know about this, but it means you don't pay gas fees, like recovery is better. Just the user experience starts to dramatically improve across any app that they're using. But I think for us, that will be a big unlock in terms of just like continuing to improve the usability of our wallet, which I think benefits both the kind of like mini app developers, right? They can interact with wallets without having to leave an app on mobile, which I think is actually a pretty big deal. And they can do that across both Farcaster and the Coinbase wallet. But also, I think the creators on Farcaster, there's just like more ways to monetize, right? So there's this huge tipping meta that exists right now. A bunch of different mini app developers that allow you that every time you are kind of replying, liking, following someone on the network, that's programmatically kicking off a small microtransaction. So because base gas is so cheap, you're sending 1 cent of USDC or 10 cents of USDC or any token, any Clanker that you have a balance of, you can actually just kind of stream to people you're interacting with on the network. And we've been talking about micropayments on the internet since the 90s, right? And like the fact that it's actually working now, almost 40 years later, is kind of wild. But it's happening on Farcaster, it's happening on the base. So I think that is something that as we continue to level up the underlying UX for wallets, it'll just feel like this is how social media should work.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about this. I mean, in the last week and a half, and I know we're gonna have TK on later, like the whole Noice. I don't know.
Noice.
I'm saying it in my head. I'm like, Noice.
The whole Noice like energy where there's now like all of these microtransactions flowing through Farcaster on base. That's been so exciting. Watching Farcaster sell out Farcaster Pro yesterday, where they did like $1.2 million in sales at like less than $10 of gas fees on base. It really feels like for the first time the technology is starting to work because we have fast, cheap block space, but also that fast, cheap block space is combined with this really, really rich social graph, which then enables these things to be kind of like multiplicative and amplifying each other, where the value is able to flow through the network and make it this really, really lively economy with money flowing in every single direction.
That's awesome. Okay, so then here's my question. If each of you could give one sentence to describe the future of this space, Web3, what would it be? I will hit it to Jack first.
Sure. I'm gonna
like...
say permissionless, or I guess that's one word. But yeah, we could kind of see it with even like the Pro token by MJC yesterday, airdrop to the like first 10,000 Coinbase or Farcaster Pro NFTs, and there was no kind of like there was no need to ask for permission there. Just builders building what they want, and that's pretty cool. And I can see that really just amplifying throughout the next couple months.
Love it. Jesse, to you, same question. One sentence to describe the future of Web3. What would it be?
I mean, I think it's a new internet economy that works better for creators. if you look at today, 95% of the value that, these big platforms are earning is going back to the platforms. And where's those earnings coming from? It's coming from the creators and their creativity. And, you can talk all about like, oh, but the creators can earn from brand deals, whatever. But that's like saying, yeah, we should not pay professional athletes. They should only earn from brand deals. Like, the reality is that the value is because the professional athletes are playing, because the creators are coming onto these platforms and creating. And so I think when I'm thinking about the future of Onchain, where we're going, it is all about building this new economy that actually puts the value back in the hands of creators, and make it so that when you bring your creativity online or you bring your creativity on chain, you earn and you get the benefit from that creativity.
Love it. Dan, to you.
Freedom. I think crypto, decentralized, social protocol-based world where we're kind of moving back towards Web 1 in the sense that like we're taking all the advanced technology that we've developed over the last 30, 40 years on the internet and moving back to a model where you as kind of an individual have the freedom to choose what client you want, what algo you want, what payment system you want, and you can opt into kind of whatever configuration you want. And so if you want to be really cyberpunk, you can go do that. If you want a really easy to use user experience that a company that you trust provides, great, you can use that. And the ability to kind of like move between those services, I think is pretty seamless, right? And I think like one way to think about that is like, since the beginning, Coinbase has always let you move your crypto with Coinbase, right? A couple of clicks. If you think about trying to move your money or your stocks out of a bank or a brokerage account, it's just, they kill you with paperwork and all these kind of arcane processes. You try to cancel the New York Times, your subscriber, like and you can get on the phone, right? The point is that when you move to systems that are protocol based, that are user controlled, you are back. Yeah, you have the freedom to kind of decide how you want to do things, and no one else is kind of like imposing this is how it works on you.
I love it.
So I guess from me there, what would be a recent on-chain moment that's given you chills? So like, for example, with me looking at the Coinbase beta wallet and the integration of Farcaster, it blew me away. And I can't wait till everybody else is on it as well. I think that's the next huge thing. But maybe Jack?
Sure. For me, this one really hit home, and home being Clanker, was when the Noice team was bidding on the QR. I think they got the highest the highest all-time high bid, and that just gave me chills because it shows the power of interoperability in the way where two separate projects or companies can use each other and use each other's tools to help each other and truly like just amplify the success of each. And that was really nice and gave me chills.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just pile on Noice. This is gonna be a Noice love fest. Like, I feel like every time I watch one of the videos that team has created, I get the chills, because I feel like they're actually doing some of the first video storytelling where we all have been building all this super complex infrastructure, whether it's the chain or the token launcher or the social graph. But sometimes it can feel a little esoteric to everyday people. And I feel like just in the last few weeks, Noice has dropped like 3 videos, all of which are just like, oh, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about an internet and a social media where value flows between the individual nodes and where it just works. And you can like eat some mango and then go to sleep and wake up and you will have made money. And that visual storytelling, I think is A, just like inspiring, and I'm excited for the base team to learn how to do it as well as the Noice team. But then B, I feel like it kind of captures the moment that we're in right now, which is that the tools are finally ready, and it's like it finally works, and now it's up to us to go and distribute this to the world. And I think it's going to be a lot easier with this kind of storytelling that the team's doing.
Awesome. How about Dan?
I think that the storytelling is, I would +1 that in that, like, we're, I think Base has actually always been really good at this, but I think generally crypto companies tend to be pretty insular, focused on crypto Twitter or like other crypto native audiences, which makes sense, especially in the early days. But we're kind of tapping out the growth of like people who are already into crypto, like the people who are on crypto Twitter. And I think if we think broader, the way for this stuff to land is actually communicating, why should I care as an individual? Like, people aren't going to use apps because they use crypto. Like, it's like, we already have those people who are interested in it. People are going to use apps because they solve problems for them. And I think that is a storytelling thing that is correctly identifying like value proposition, like, you know, big quotes, marketing, but like the idea of like really understanding what problems people have, and then actually, does this product solve one of those problems? And if it's not, then I don't know. Like, so I think like the storytelling that we see from Coinbase's ads, we see from you know, Noice, but like anything that people are doing in terms of like on-chain representations of kind of storytelling, I think is important.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Well, my question here next on the agenda, and I want to open this up actually to Jesse, Dan, and Jake here. How do you see Base, Farcaster, and Clanker changing the narrative around on-chain emerging as the new online?
I mean, I feel like it's a lot of the themes we've been talking about. It's about permissionlessness. So like Base and Clanker and Farcaster, there's no like formal partnerships between us. You know, like I love telling the story of the original Frames launch because you know we really leaned in on that. But we found out about Frames at the same time everyone else did when Dan and team like did the cast about it. And then we just saw, oh, this is this incredibly powerful primitive. Like, let's lean in and figure out how to help people build Frames on Base. And then that kind of unlocked all of this collaboration from there. Same with Clanker, like, you know, the pro stuff that happened yesterday. Like, there's no coordination between Dan and Clanker on like, oh yeah, we're gonna have like a meme that's around like Farcaster Pro. It's just happening. And so I do think like one of the biggest narratives is this kind of permissionless, composable reality of the new internet, where like these systems work together like money Legos. I think that's just super inspiring.
Awesome.
Yeah, and maybe like my sense is, it goes back to what I said before, is like online solve practical problems for people, right? Like you know, if you think of like early internet websites, it's like, oh, I can check the weather, or I can check stock prices or news, or and then obviously naturally it got more sophisticated over time. But like outside of trading crypto right now, there hasn't been like kind of a breakout mainstream use case around like, oh, this is solving a problem for me as like a normal person who isn't constantly thinking about like what's the next crypto I should be trading. And I think some of that merges over time, where like as you know, innovation in like coins generally happen in terms of like, oh, you can use a coin to kind of align a fan base, or you can use a coin to kind of like bootstrap a new startup. Like, I think there will be a bunch of innovation there, and so that will kind of proliferate in terms of how people interact with it. But it very much is like the reason the internet became so popular is like it provided a lot of very clear, compelling value to normal people. It wasn't this like weird thing for nerds. It was that for a while, but then like come Netscape, 1994, AOL, and you know, kind of like that .com boom, it became very clear very fast, and it still took a while, right? Like the internet didn't like really work at scale until mobile. Like you just think of the number of people globally, but it was like very clear in the like late 90s that like, okay, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can actually do on the internet in your day to day. And I think we're still not quite there. We're close, but crypto needs to kind of like break out of just like a little bit of the circular. Crypto is interesting.
The bubble.
Like crypto, right? And to be fair, I think like stablecoins is a great example of something that's like concrete, exists in the real world, is seeing adoption, right? And like we're using them every day on Farcaster. You know, just going into like we raised our subscriptions like in stablecoins. So it's like if we had done that with credit cards, we would pay $45,000 in fees. Those $45,000 are now going to go back to creators and developers on Farcaster's rules. So just like very tangible, basic use case, but the average person isn't necessarily getting that benefit today. Whereas you can imagine going to like a checkout flow on Stripe or Shopify or whatever your favorite e-commerce site, and if stablecoin is like, oh, 2% cash back, maybe you pick that, right? And that actually the merchant's net saves there probably 1 to 2%. So I think like we're getting there. It's going to take some time, but like that's how you convince people Onchain is the new online.
I love it. Thank you so much, Dan and Jesse. And yeah, Jack, would love to hear from you as well.
Yeah, totally. Just to echo Jesse's famous statement, it's still day one. We're definitely kind of in the bubble, but I think that thanks to Farcaster and Base, especially with the Farcaster rewards, traditional social media posters can now be rewarded and see that value in real time. And I really think that is the catalyst to growth and really infiltrating the mainstream media, where these creators and truly just any artist really, any content creator can really be rewarded for their content in a transparent way. So to me, that's that is what Onchain means to me. Super excited to see with the new Coinbase wallet rollout, the Farcaster rewards re-up, and yeah, it's still early.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
We just, sorry, I just wanted
Thanks
to
for
say
having me.
thanks so much to DWR. Thanks to Jesse for your time. I know they have a hard stop here. We really appreciate hearing your guys' perspective on the future of
Yeah,
Onchain.
thanks for having us, and excited
Cheers.
to keep having more creators come on chain. It's a new awesome economy we're building together. Thanks, y'all.
Thank
You guys are
so
supporting
much.
us.
Thank you.
Thank
Much
you.
love.
See ya.
All right.
Awesome.
I think that's a great time for us to go ahead and bring up TK, Toadyhawk, and Jake.
Oh, we got Toady. I wasn't sure if we're still doing this at the end of the creator stream. I think we
Yeah,
can.
we sure are every time.
Oh yeah, we will absolutely. Yeah.
Guys,
We
I feel
hard it
so.
out every time we get out
I feel
of here.
very underprepared being in a car with Dan and Jesse. Not gonna lie.
We're happy to
I
have
thought it
you
was gonna be a
here.
Twitter space. But
I think
thank
it's kind
you.
of it's
I
kind
love
of a vibe though. It's kind of a vibe.
It really is. You're looking good. That's why I encouraged it. When
Thank
you're like,
you.
"No, I'm in the car." It doesn't matter. Let's see your.
I haven't,
Yeah, it's a good
you
vibe.
know,
Wherever,
I haven't
wherever
showered
you're
in
coming
2
from.
days, but
just
appreciate it.
clanking down the highway, Jack. Just clanking
Clank.
down the highway.
I love
It's
it.
building in public. That's what it is.
I told Ryan, I was like, I don't care where I am. I won't miss this.
Love it. All right. Well, welcome. You guys, let's do a quick round robin intro. Now that we got a new few folks up in here, we're going to go ahead and start with TK. Who are you? What do you do? Noice.
Yeah. I think the better part of the last month has been Noice, but I think prior to that, we spent some time building Cast Money. It was a trading platform, again, built on top of Farcaster social graph. Did a bunch of things wrong there, and I think we're course correcting with Noice. Yeah, and I think I'm leading the team with a couple of other folks as well. So that's me.
Love it. And next we have Toadyhawk. Give it to us.
Hey guys, I'm Toadyhawk. I'm the co-founder of Zero Rights Media. We're basically a zero copyright media collective that makes content about the Ethereum ecosystem. And I also founded Betrmint, which is my first mini app on the Farcaster ecosystem that just launched about 3 weeks ago. So I'm excited to talk about that with you today.
Yeah. And then we have a blue dot, Jake. You out there, Jake?
Hey guys, yeah, Jake here. Thanks for having me. Good to be here with some familiar faces and a bunch of great builders. I'm currently working on QRcoin.fun, and that is basically where we're building what we're calling the on-chain attention machine. So basically, every day we have a daily auction, and anyone, it's been a lot of people building on Base, but theoretically anyone can go and bid on our on-chain auction, and if you win, you get a bunch of attention driven to your project or your profile or a tweet or a cast or your coin or whatever you want, really. So we're driving a bunch of attention to a project that hopefully deserves it every day, but it's an open auction, so anyone can go and bid and win and grab some attention for a day.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here, joining us on this awesome Thursday for the Fireside Chat. For anyone who has just joined this stream, just a quick recap. We've talked to Dan Romero and Jesse Pollak. They had to kind of take off, but we still have Jack. He was here from the beginning of the stream. And now we have TK, Toadyhawk, and Jake as we continue the discussion. So who do we got up next? I know there was Ryan, I think, up with a fancy question. You have a fancy question?
Well, I had a question that was going to be directed at Jesse. I'm going to redirect to Jack. So, Jack, what is your biggest unlock that you've seen from launching Clanker?
Sorry, can you repeat that one time? Just cut
Yes.
out.
What is the biggest unlock that you've seen from launching Clanker?
Ooh, the biggest unlock? Unlock, I would just say the ability to just ship it and not overthink something. Like, I feel like before, at least for me personally, I would have to like polish a project before I would even think about sharing that link. And now I just feel like it's just like you get the MVP, you ship it, and you see if people like it, if people use it. And you build from there, you get the feedback. At least like that's been my biggest unlock with all this.
Okay. Now I'll kind of direct the same question to our creators who have been already launched on Clanker, and kind of what is the biggest unlock that you guys have seen from launching on Clanker? And we'll start with TK.
I think like in terms of launching on Clanker, it's something we knew from day zero that I think this is what we want to go ahead with. I think I truly expected, or I truly knew everything that's going to happen or the support we're going to get. Like, because like I used to tell Jack and the team then that this was my introduction to crypto, believe it or not. Like Clanker was the first project that I ever like actually followed like in crypto. So the high like more than being associated to Farcaster, like or feeling a sense of familiarity to Farcaster, I felt a sense of familiarity to Clanker. I think the unlock was just like I think the team also like helping us out in every step of the way. Like I think it's more been about like what Jack, Brian, week or the few preceding weeks, like that's actually the unlock and not what anything that has happened externally. I think that's second order, but I think just the love that they have, and since we were like exposed, like we are now like mutually incentivized, like they were always like super helpful with Cast Money too, but after we launched the token, like they really helped us like way beyond my expectations. So I think just seeing that was my unlock, to be very honest, like because they're swamped for time. They've seen 100,000 clankers go by, and I'm just thinking about like, dude, are you supporting all of them so well?
Much love. Thank you. I didn't realize that Clanker was the first. That's a really cool story. I appreciate it.
That's really
Just
awesome to hear.
Real quick. Speaking of unlock, I think we summoned Stella from Unlock Protocol in the audience right around that question.
Hey, Stella.
GM Stella.
Hey, Stella, we love you. So I have a
That's
question
my
for you
honey
guys.
bunny. For anybody who doesn't know, Stella is my honey bunny. If y'all haven't any previous streams, she is the only person in the entire universe that I have ever referred to as my honey bunny. So mark that down.
That's a
So far, so far.
Stella.
Not so far. She's the only one that's ever going to have it.
Toady's looking to be your next honey bunny, it looks like.
HR.
Is there an on-chain HR? We need one.
Me, you're talking to her.
Ryan, did you want me to answer the same question?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Toady. What was your
Toady.
biggest unlock from launching on Clanker?
So for me, I think Clanker for creators and builders is about distribution and about security. And I know TK kind of talked about the distribution side. You just know if you clank something and you build earnestly in that ecosystem, Jack and the rest of the team are going to help you with distribution. Doesn't matter if you have 1 follower or 1 million followers, they're going to be, tweeting your shit and and just, casting your stuff and just making sure that everybody knows what you're building. So that's a big part of it. And then security is just the other one. Like this often gets kind of glossed over, but people feel comfortable buying a Clanker token because they know they're not going to get honeypotted. They know they're not going to get rugged. And so just having that is something we take for granted a little bit in the base ecosystem, because in some other ecosystems that we won't, name by name, you just, every other token you ape into might be a honeypot, and that's just the trenches, as it were. But so as a builder, it's nice to know that people, even if they don't know who you are, maybe they just like the meme or they like what you're building and they can feel comfortable aping it and supporting. So those are the two main ones for me.
I love it.
And Jake, how about yourself? What was your biggest unlock from launching on Clanker?
Yeah, I think Clanker to me really like lowers the friction to just start, to just do something basically. And sort of goes along the lines with what Jack was saying earlier, like just ship it. The origin story of QR is I just clanked it. I didn't actually plan to work on it really hard. I even I forget if it was in the initial Clank or in like a follow-up cast, but I basically said like, transparently, this isn't something that I'm probably going to want to work on for a very long time or very hard. And I clanked it and I sort of didn't do anything. I basically had this original idea for what we are now basically building, but I didn't really expect to actually do it. I just sort of clanked it as sort of like a reminder to myself, like, if you want to work on this thing, like sort of the smallest first step that you can take can often be helpful. Otherwise, you just won't end up doing the thing. So I clanked it, which is maybe not such a small thing, launching the token before you have anything else going on. But I did it. And then about a month later, something sort of sparked me to revisit it. And someone helped build the on-chain auction, and we got off to the races. And now we're on, day 84 or 85 of daily auctions. And probably none of it would have happened if I didn't just clank it in the first place.
Let's go.
There's something
Much
to
love.
that. Just clank it. Just take yourself up off your keister and just do
clank it.
something.
I think that just to kind of talk about distribution for a second, I think like we try and share quality projects. And I think that everyone else on stage here, like, are also incredible resources for distribution too, right? Whether it's tipping, spreading the token, having it in Betrmint for rewards, especially QR too, right? Like that is the pinnacle right now of distribution. So, I think it's really just like, it's a team effort, or it's an ecosystem effort, and we're all working towards the same thing, which is bringing everyone on chain. And
Jack, imagine a project launching today and they decide to, hook up with Noice, do a Betrmint round and win at least one QR auction. Just do that for the launch and see how it goes. I mean, it can't fail.
Having bullshit. And
I think we kind of lost him a little.
Yeah, kind of afraid to ask this question because it's kind of geared towards Jack. Let me see. He'll probably get out of the dead zone
I have
soon.
a question for Jack too.
I'm back.
I'm
back.
Oh, sweet. Okay. So here, I have a question for you.
There he is.
Can you guys hear me? Let me see if my mic.
Yes,
is-
me.
Okay.
Yep.
So the integration of AI in token deployment is a unique aspect of Clanker. Can you delve into how AI powers Clanker's functionalities and the advantages it brings to users?
Sure. Yep. So our AI use case is Clanker's a tool, right? It takes human input, text, cast input, whatever, and basically parses that into a name, symbol, image. Right now, we also have vaulting, vesting schedules, things like that. But yeah, it's basically like it takes an input, makes an output, rather than in a creative way. We kind of started this with we saw Ethernet, right? And Ethernet was like a Farcaster specific chatbot. It was like a pre-Grok type thing. It was very social, but AI, I feel like, is very powerful for tooling, and the ability to have this decision tree based off of a user input, I feel like is very powerful in itself. Clanker today is like basically the same prompt that we gave it 6 months ago. Just deploy tokens. If you ask it to do something else, it'll be like, I have one job, it's just deploy tokens. So, to me, I feel like AI is a tool, and we see that with Cursor and all of these kind of like advanced search things. I think Bracky is a great example too of an AI that's it's your bookie basically, and same way that maybe you can do like a self checkout at the grocery store. I don't know how much AI is in that. They're not running Claude 3.5 or anything like that. But it's just extracting away maybe like boring tasks that humans used to do and making it fun. I feel like that's the most important part, right? Give it a personality that people maybe want to interact with. But I feel like having it be over promised is It's not going to take our jobs. You know, they're fun. We like AI flankers.
And I also think it opens up more space for creators to create as well, right? To have more time to focus on your creations instead of like whatever mundane tasks.
Exactly.
Yeah, make things
Like,
fun and easy, and that's really the goal for either if you're a creator or a consumer. You know, you want it to be fun and easy.
Absolutely. I don't know if you're able to go into the lore at all. We've heard a lot of whispers here and there that there's a bunch of Clanker lore that seems pretty exciting. Maybe even tokens that Clanker was able to launch themselves. I don't know if you're able to give us any alpha or lore on Clanker for the audience.
well, Clanker did have an ex-agent wife, Angela. I think there was a couple tokens. There was a bug. There was a bug Clanker that came out. That was like, yeah, that was just, it was like something, it's not supposed to tag itself, but it did.
Jack,
People love
what's the contract address for that?
What's
quick?
that?
What's the contract address for that one?
Of which one?
Of the bug. Can I get the CA? The ticker?
Oh, it's someone out there is like trying to like CTO it, but like Clanker, I'm pretty sure gets the reward. So I don't know why they're trying to do that, but it's cool. I think it's like it's a milestone or like a memory checkpoint of like, oh, that was a bug. But yeah, people were like, they like the old Clankers, like that. I was just like, I had to test the project, like to see if it worked, like the deployment logic. Don't bid those. Like if people are out there, like, I think they're fun, but not, I'm not doing anything with them, but yeah, there's a lot of test ones out there.
Not financial advice, but very cool to hear that lore and that backstory with Angela appearing in the scene as a little wife for Clanker, and just the cool testing process. And I think it does point to the memory. It'd be interesting to see if more functionality was added down the line to Clanker. We could even ask Clanker if they remember their wife Angela or the test token.
Clanker should. I don't know what Angela's up to. She might be talking to Banker these days, but definitely left the old rusty bucket.
Why do I feel like Smoke came here just for Angela Alpha?
It was. I'm like a plant.
She wanted some drama is what she wanted. It was like, these are the days of our lives in Clank Clank.
That's the next stage of AI soap operas and drama.
Let's do it.
Reality
I'm
TV
so
shows.
in. I am so in.
By the way, you guys, I think we low key have a DAO forming in the comments. We got multiple people excited about Honey Bunny DAO. I mean, it looks like it's happening. We got the Nounish professor out there.
All right, I love it. Honey Bunny DAO with my Honey Bunny herself. I'm in. I have a question. This one's kind of personal to me, right? And I say that because there's a lot of creators, builders, storytellers, everything like that. I'm an indie filmmaker. This is for all of you, and we'll start it off with Jack. What is your message for indie creators, for those solo developers, right? Because there's a lot of us that are blessed to have teammates, team members. My family is right here on stage with me. And there's no way that I could do all of the things that I do without them. What is your message to those that are just them, to start building Onchain, to just get out there and do the thing, do the clank MFs, whatever it is that you like? What is
Totally. I would say, just get like, if you have an idea, any idea, even if it's like your passion, whatever it is, if you can kind of like boil it down to like one example and share that, whether it's in the form of a Clank or, any type of like on-chain, type of transaction, and really replicate this, right? Like for Clanker, right? Like it was just, I built like, it was supposed to be an agent that went rogue and lost its private keys. I built it basically as simple as possible, right? Like you take input from a cast, you output a token, and then it's like it just became a token launcher in itself. Wasn't intended at all. So I think if you have an idea or even like a rough idea of what you want to do, just put it out there and see what people think of it. And you might end up in a place that you were not expecting to go. but I think that's really just the magic behind it all. So yeah.
I love it. Next, I'm gonna go down the line. So Jake, what do you got?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Jack just said. I'm a big fan of starting from sort of the seed of an idea and not over prescribing, what it might become. And QR is a great example of that. I mean, I had this idea of an on-chain attention machine, and originally I just thought we would feature a different project every day, the auction winner, and we would drive some attention to them, very minimal to start. And then, they would naturally share that they won the QR. And so they would sort of point their community back to us. And if we do that day after day after day, it's sort of a logical equation that should compound attention over time, but it would be pretty slow. And it was pretty slow, but it was working. And then basically, 2 weeks ago, we sort of had this breakthrough that we could provide like micro incentives basically in our native QR token to actually incentivize people to go check out the daily winner. And sort of overnight, we went from driving, hundreds of visitors to thousands, and it's just growing every day. We're using, like Farcaster mini app and notification distribution and all these various on-chain tools basically that make things possible that just previously weren't. And I couldn't have sort of foreseen any of that. I mean, I guess theoretically, maybe I could have, but it's just sort of impractical. You kind of just need to start and do the thing and trust that if you sort of have a feeling about the seed of the idea, there might be something to that. And just like Jack said, he tried to make a rogue agent and ended up making, the token launcher on base. So things can go in like sort of mysterious directions, but if you keep sort of doing what you think is best, including, stopping working on a project if it's not going well or whatever. I'm just sort of a big believer in following your gut and seeing where it takes you.
I love it. Thank you for that. Toady, what you got?
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to try things on chain would be my main message. Like, and then since we're talking about Clanker today, like where tokens are concerned, tokens are something that you can try on chain, and a lot of people are scared to try tokenizing something, but just don't be scared. Like if you have a good idea, tokens can be a really powerful primitive.
If you have a bad idea,
even if it's a bad idea, yeah, I mean, go and try it and see what happens. But like I had a tweet earlier this week about how I feel like distribution now can be like literal distribution, and TK might say something about this too, because that's a big part of what they're doing with Noice. But like you can actually take tokens and distribute them and find new fans by actually literally distributing your token through protocols like Noice, through games like Betrmint, through these different mechanisms, through other mini apps as well on Farcaster. So it's a pretty powerful like primitive to be able to like liquefy this attention and send it out to people and find your first 1,000 fans. So I would just say don't be afraid to experiment with these types of things, and Clanker is a great way, and the team's going to support you if you do build something in earnest here. So that's my advice there.
I love it. TK, go on.
I'll try to answer this in two parts. The first part is that, okay, look, no human is one-dimensional, right? Like, do not think about like just on-chain, just think about who you are and what you stand for. Like, if you love football, like in each probably like Noice video, you're going to see like a reference to Barcelona just because you love it. Or like you're just going to see like a range of things, and just own up to who you are and just authentically try to put yourself out there. Like, for example, like I have zero context to crypto, right? So even if I tried, I'm not going to be able to give you jargon. Which is why like my edge automatically becomes that I'm going to dumb it down till I can explain it to my grandmom what I'm trying to do here. And I just immediately like it goes from my weakness to my strength. So just you have to just really like own up to like who you are and what you stand for, and like try to see what can you make work in your favor. And this is for filmmakers, this is for coders, this is for absolutely anybody who's trying to like just make it on the internet, let alone on chain. That'd be first. And I think with respect to like tokens and distribution in general, like I think we've started to now believe that we'd rather be like a catalyst to speculation than a breeding ground to speculation. Look, like no matter how hard you try, you will never, ever, ever be able to reverse engineer what Clanker has ever done. Like you can write 1,000 case studies on them, but you will never be able to do it. Like it's just like as simple as it gets. So like you cannot try to just think about like, hey, I want to become like a token launcher just because that's where the money is. You have to be like really pragmatic and again own up to who you are. Like maybe you're not somebody who can do a great job there. Just because there's money, don't go for it. Like just try to think about like what do you want to. If this is something that you would do for the rest of your life, would you be proud of it? Like, is this going to be your life's work? Like, when we launched Noice, I probably didn't think so. But like when I started thinking about, hey, look, like I think I'm probably going to help 1 million people make their first dollar on the internet. I'm going to help a bunch of like second, third world kids who are 17 years of age to make their first dollar, to bring ambition in their life. That's when I started thinking that, dude, like I think I want to do this for the next 10 years. And I can think of, and all of a sudden, like I'm just now thinking about growing way beyond, and which is like one of the reasons why I'm going to do like everything I can to make Farcaster succeed. I do not care if like whatever is happening, right? Like because it is my dream, and I think I have to like sort of take control, and like it is our dream, and we have to like sort of take control of it. So I would just say like you're the only person responsible for your success and failure. Like no matter whether you're a dev, you're a filmmaker, just like truly accept that you could blame the markets, you could say this, that, and you could just like keep giving excuses. But like you go to sleep and you know that you fell short. So just go ham with it, own up to who you are, and find your edge, irrespective of whether it's on.
Yeah,
Let's
I love
go.
it. I was just talking with my family yesterday. That's
Jump
awesome
right
about
now.
radical accountability. I love that.
Yeah,
That was incredible. Very well said.
Thanks.
So
I think
maybe,
my question's next here. Is it you, Keith?
no, it's me there.
Oh, it's yours. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, this one's to Jack there. What would your aspirations be for Clanker in the next 12 to 18 months, and how do you envision its role in the broader Web3 landscape?
Yep. So we are aiming to be the most flexible token experiences, delivering the best token experiences by being the most flexible. I like to say we are aiming to be what Next.js is to React, Clanker will be to Uniswap. And this is basically going to allow for any type of token launch. I think that the entire meta right now is everything's going to be on chain. We want Clanker to be at the forefront of that. We want to basically be continuing just to experiment with whether it's AI experiments, but also doubling down on the contract level. And yeah, I think that meta shift, right? Tokens are hot right now. NFTs were hot, 3 years ago? We want to continue to be just putting out fun experiences. And I think that we've got a great team working alongside myself in an incredible ecosystem. Everyone here is part of it. I think that we're really just getting started here. I feel like we're not even at the fun part yet. This is just we're messing around. We're kind of experimenting for everyone else that's going to come in in the next upcoming, whether it's the next cycle. But I really see that Clanker as a company is really just going to continue to be iterative and on the contract level, on the experiment level, on the ecosystem level. We're really excited to start to kind of double down on the ecosystem side of things as well.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, I have a question for all of you here. I mean, this is something I know, Toady, I've seen you doing a lot of work with Onchain Media. I'm curious, what are the top opportunities for creators to bring their content on chain? So specifically media and video. And maybe Toady, you can kick this off because I know you're like a Onchain Media master over there.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways to tokenize your content. I've personally dealt mostly with the Pods team over the last 18 months, so I can, I can definitely recommend them. Lucas and the team there are just amazing, and what they do is almost like a white glove service to bring a podcast that you may already have in the Web 2 world. Maybe it's on Spotify or YouTube, and in a few clicks you can import it, bring it on chain, and start asking people to patronize you for your content. And I think that's really powerful. They've built in a lot of interesting boost mechanics into the site as well that allow you to use meme coins and tokens and clankers, for example, to reward people for minting and collecting your content. That was a big inspiration for what we're doing with Betrmint as well. So yeah, huge flowers thrown towards towards pods. I mean, I know not everyone has a podcast, although it seems like 90% of people do these days. But not everybody has a podcast. If you're not a podcaster, you can coin things on Zora. You can clank them on Clanker. You can put them on Manifold. There's so many different options. Get on Farcaster is probably a good one. Like, get on there and talk to people, because people on Farcaster really care about finding distribution and finding fans for creators a lot more so than what you see on other platforms. Hopefully Elon won't stop the stream for me saying that on the air here. But yeah, get on Farcaster, get on the Purple app if you're not there, and meet other people who care about helping creators get seen and helping them make revenue and make funding for their creativity.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Toady. And I am curious to learn more about Manifold. That's my first time hearing. I had a feeling I would learn about something new here. So yeah, curious to learn more about Manifold as well.
Manifold is just it's an OG platform, very similar to what Zora used to be like in terms of being able to just mint NFTs, good old NFTs. If you want to do it that way, you can do it on Manifold. If you want to do them as sort of liquid ERC20s, you can do that on Zora. There's so many ways to skin a cat. I've even come around personally to the philosophy influenced heavily by Jacob from Zora that really we're actually monetizing or tokenizing the attention around the content that we're making, more so than we're actually tokenizing the content. So really nothing even stops you from coining something and putting it on Manifold and putting it on pods and just seeing where people want to collect it and where they want to support you for your work. So yeah,
absolutely.
Many tools.
Well, Toady, thank you so much, and would love to hear from you, all of you, Jack, Jake, and TK as well.
Yeah, why don't I let Jack go through first? Is that right?
Sorry,
I can repeat the question too if it helps.
Sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, sorry, I know that was like way back. So what are the top opportunities for creators to bring their content, specifically media and video, on chain?
Honestly, I think that Zora's great. I really like they've got kind of that vertical stack there. It's like an Instagram. Honestly, I'm a big Farcaster fanboy though. Like that's my home. Share whatever you want there. I think like you don't even just share what you like. Drop an NFT collection. Like I think it's really just about expressing who you are as an individual, and finding your cozy corner. And I think that a lot of people kind of do it for maybe they'll launch something or clank it for the money, which I think is the wrong perspective. They should clank it for the culture. Right, you make a really good meme, that. Don't do it to try and make money off of it. Do it as a natural movement, and I think that's kind of my advice. But yeah, I think there's so many mediums where you can deploy these assets. It's just whatever kind of fits your personal stack.
Everything is downstream of culture anyway, so.
Amen to that.
Exactly.
All right, TK, what do you got?
I mean, I think I've been spending a good enough amount of time trying to think about how does content exist on chain. I don't think I've convinced myself with an answer that I would bet my complete money on just yet. In a way where I'd say I think this is exactly how it happens, but we're just experimenting as we go. But I think I'll tell you the opportunity is very simple. It's exactly the same way Web2 social media works, because at the end of the day, you have to completely remember that whether it's Zora or whether it's Instagram, it's a human fucking being using it, and humans work in a predictable fashion. Humans have similar. Twitter or Instagram rarely matters. So just try to really think about how do humans function, what gets them hooked, what works for them. And I think whether you're doing NFTs, whether you're doing blogs, whether you're doing threads, whether you're doing videos, if you just truly think about what works for humans, you'll just be successful no matter whether it's Web 2, Web 3, Web 4 or Web 7. That's my strongest belief. And which is why I bring it to the same point that just figure out what do you stand for and just naturally let it flow. Don't try to pretend and be somebody else. That's the first strongest feedback that I'd ever give to anybody. As I've said, you can't reverse engineer something. You cannot idolize something just because it's worked. Just you do you, man. Just own up to yourself and do it well. And remember, it's just humans. So just be a good human, think like a human, act like a human, sell to a human. That's it. That's
Do
literally
only good every day.
it. Yeah, I mean, I think contributing to, I mean, just how the industry works, like I think there's a lot of people with malicious intent, and that's okay. But I think over the long run, if you want a good night's sleep, just do good. It's just for yourself, not even about money or hurting others. Like, do you not want to go to sleep happy with yourself each night? Isn't that what matters? Forget money. I think that's that.
That's one of the things that like drew me into this community. I mean, own the Doge, the creators. It's just surrounding yourself with people that are doing good. It really is. It's one of the best feelings. It just like makes you excited about showing up and doing the work. So totally agree with you there.
Yeah.
All right, I think we got Jake up next.
On just content coins, basically.
Yeah, just like what are the top opportunities that you see for creators? I know we covered a lot of them here, but if there's anything that hasn't been mentioned that you think like specifically around media and video, like just opportunities for creators.
Yeah, I think go Clank and go on Farcaster and cast a bunch and play with mini apps or make mini apps or put a bounty up for an idea that you have and get someone to build a mini app for you. Go to Zora and post just like Instagram. I got my brother, who's not really like a crypto native, to install Zora, and he's been posting his photos on there and stuff and makes a little money and has some fun and meets some new people. It's like, I think coining in general, or whatever you want to call it, making a token is it's got like some stigma attached to it for some good reasons, because there are bad actors and a lot of people have gotten burned. But as long as you sort of communicate what you're doing and why you're doing it the right way, and you go in with good intentions, I think it's a great way to just people can make small amounts of money, sometimes large amounts of money, but more often very small amounts of money off of stuff that otherwise wouldn't make any money, and have fun doing it and just kind of experiment at the edges of what crypto makes possible, which I think we all have ideas around, but still sort of unclear in a lot of ways what this all means 5-10 years from now.
Absolutely awesome. Well, thank you all, and just want to give a shout out. We got some comments coming in, and Prof got a shout out from Ben Broad for a new mini app that she built as well. Not sure what it is, but it sounds, we'd love to hear more about that. I know we don't have Prof up here. Little alpha in the comments.
Shout out Create too. Thanks for clanking, and thanks for putting this on too.
Aw, thanks, Jack.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Aww. He a half a heart connected somewhere. Where is it?
There we go.
Yeah, much love.
Nowhere near each other.
I know, not at all. It's like I'm in a corner and he's down here. I don't know how to like.
I only got one hand.
It's the thought
on mobile.
Pass it down.
No, I'd like to
fun.
suggest something regarding all three of the projects that are featured here. I'd like to, when we finish this episode here, download it, post it on pods.media, use it for a round of Betrmint, put it up on QRcoin, and then also use Noice for distributing it for people to recast. So
love it.
So meta.
Yeah,
I think I just want to take
like
half a
meta
minute.
squared times 2 or something. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I just want to take half a minute. Like, I think I did talk about like everything that Clanker team did, and there's like a lot more. Every sort of problem they've helped us with, but I also want to take a minute to just like appreciate what Jake has done with QR. I'm like incredibly happy that over the past couple of weeks, or past week, it is gaining the traction it was supposed to gain. And Jake, like, thank you so much for going on for 77 days when there were days when it didn't make sense or the bids were like $60. And I think it makes me incredibly happy to like see them at 2,000, and I actually honestly expected to be 20. Really congratulate you. Like, I think across like everything that was happening with Noice, Clanker's like already been established, like it was killing it. We were like really happy for like how QR also picked up, and like how people started seeing like how simple it is and just how it works. So yeah, big ups and big fan, rooting for you.
Thank you. I
Persistence
appreciate it,
pays
man.
off.
I appreciate it, and happy to help however we can, and Noice certainly has helped us as well. You guys wrote the playbook on how to launch with QR, so appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Wonderful. Is that it? Or do you have
Ryan,
more questions?
Ryan, I wonder if I can say one more thing about a part of Clanker that we used that I didn't get to talk about earlier, and I wanted to highlight for other builders. We were one of the first projects that used Clanker's Vault feature, which I think is really cool. I think that that was your idea originally, Jack, and you and Lobster put it together. And it's really cool. It allows you to basically take a percentage of the supply and set it aside when you launch, and you can use that for community incentives and airdrops. So with Betrmint, when we clanked Better, we basically took 30% of the supply, put it aside for 60 days to use for airdrops and incentives, and then we did a dev buy of another 20%, put that aside too. So we took 50% of the supply, took it right out, and just used that, for different ways to reward the community for your app. And like that's a really powerful way to use tokens to incentivize the behavior that you want, and that's really easy and possible because of the way that you guys have designed the protocol, Jack. So just want to thank you for that. And if other builders are looking at it and they're thinking like, how can I clank something that's not going to be looked at like a cash grab or like something that's just out to make money? How can I make it like a real community endeavor? And I think vaults make that really possible and obvious. So just wanted to give a shout out.
I appreciate that, Toady, and I appreciate you. We have a lot more tooling coming for creators with V4, so stay tuned.
Ooh, alpha.
Ooh, can't wait to hear about that. And I know we're kind of going over the hour mark, so let's start closing it down. For those that have just joined us, well, sorry you missed a lot, but definitely rewatch because we had a lot of cool conversation going on. We talked to Dan Romero, co-founder of Farcaster. Jesse Pollak was here earlier, head of Base and Coinbase Wallet. Jack has been here graciously the entire time with us. And we have TK, founder of Noice, Toadyhawk, founder of Betrmint, and Jake, founder of QRcoin. Are there any last parting words that you would like to give to all of those listening? I'm going to go left to right. TK, what is your parting words? I have a feeling it's going to be something like own who you are.
Actually,
damn, you stole my answer.
I actually just like the last thing is consuming stuff can make you feel pretty good. Like listening to this is going to make you feel like you've learned a lot. But like this is also a loop in itself. So get off this podcast, like and like stop listening and just like start doing something. Like start doing something with it. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in this mental masturbation like marathon that you'll go on. So just be very active about like actually doing something each time you listen to something. So I think that's about it. I hope you learn.
Just clank it.
Just clank it.
Clank MFs. I love
less,
it.
build more.
Toady.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of repeat what I said earlier, which is like, don't be afraid to try new things on chain. Cause I always call myself an on-chain experimentation maxi. And I think you have to be to try to figure out ways to fund yourself and be able to keep building and creating in this space. So just don't be afraid. I'm a try something new every day maxi as well. And part of that sort of influenced the way that we've designed Betrmint, where we have a game every other day right now. We eventually want to get it to be a daily occurrence, but something that you can look forward to, something that's like a bit of an event. So yeah, just get out there, try something, bid on a QR auction, tip some people with Noice, clank something, do something every single day on chain. And then it becomes easier and easier and you make friends and you build an audience that way.
I love it. Thank you so much. Jake, what you got for us?
Yeah, I'll mostly just echo these guys. Thank you guys for having me on, and it's been great hanging out for a little bit. I'm enjoying tipping with Noice, spinning the wheel on Betrmint, and of course, clanking. I should probably chill out on the clanking for a little. I've got like my main clanker right now, but if you look at the archives, I've probably clanked like 7-8 times. I clanked a font a while ago. People forget about Helvetica, but I'm not afraid to clank at a moment's notice. So even though we've got the main clanker right now with QR, keep an eye. You might want to set your notifications on my Farcaster or something like that.
You should never be afraid to clank.
Clank on.
I love all these different things that we can say with Clank. It's amazing. But yes, Jack, sorry.
No, you're good.
Last but not least, please, sir, what are your parting words to the audience?
Clank on 3. 1, 2, 3, Clank.
Y'all were late. What was
We need
that?
work. We need work.
That
We
was-
need work.
I feel like we need to
Let's
do
go
that
from the
again.
top.
Can we,
From
like
the
that
top.
was a
Practice
horrible
that.
sound bite. Let's.
Can you
Jack,
fix that in post?
One word.
No. Look.
That might be
Post
the
one
is
take.
incredibly
It's one
difficult.
take.
This is
Everyone
why
knows the
we do
rule.
a lot of pre-planning, right? Like you have to. I say it over and over again as a filmmaker. Pre-production is incredibly important for production to go well, so that post-production is super easy because it's not easy at all. So let's try it again. Jack, count us down for 1, 2, 3. Let's do it.
1, 2, 3, Clank.
Clank.
Closer. That was closer.
There's just
Go
so many
latency.
people to get it all.
I hope that hit.
Too much latency.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
I'm gonna
exactly.
figure something out
Broke
in the
the
editing
stream.
room to get that like down because that was just we. And to our
Like pre-record
host,
it and play it.
Rachel, do you have any parting words for everyone?
I'm just so great. I don't know. I'm just over the moon to be here. Everyone here is playing a major role in shaping the future of the on-chain world. Smoke, Lynn, Keith, Ryan, TK, Toady, Jake, Jack, all of you are playing such a pivotal role in this. And I have to give a shout out to the creators, you guys, Ryan, Lynn, Keith, and Smoke. Like, you guys have been working and planning for this for so long, and it really shows. So thank you guys for inviting me, for inviting all of us today. And to our, I think we have a couple thousand listeners. Thank you everyone for tuning in and continuing to be curious about, what's going on in our space.
Thanks, ma'am. And Smoke, parting words of wisdom.
I am just so impressed by the quality of builders that we're seeing coming from the base ecosystem, the Farcaster ecosystem. It's really inspiring. We knew that it was going to be big when these things started, but just watching the progression and really the progression toward making sure that every creator matters. Every creator has a chance to have their voice heard, to have their work seen. Ryan and I were going down a rabbit hole about this when we were hanging out with Rachel for her birthday recently on the way to the airport. And we were just so enamored by and impressed by the fact that, yeah, we know this. We're all going on chain. It's going to happen. Everyone's going to be on chain. Who knows what the future holds? But the fact that we allow for everyone to have a chance to share their work, to participate. And I'm really interested to see other industries starting to get into this, whether it's architects with their architecture coming on chain. I think there are a lot of other industries we can tap into, get them involved beyond visual art. And I'm super excited to see what the future holds in this regard, and really, really just honored to be amongst these top builders within the space.
I love it. Oh, Casey, that's going to be kind of hard to follow, but Keith, parting words.
Well, I'm just going to say, please check out all of the projects that were involved today. Follow all the different projects, all the hosts, everybody. If you go to creators.com, it's on the banner floating across at the bottom, creators.com/links. You'll get all the websites for everyone who was on today, all the Farcaster links, X accounts, everything that I could find went up there. So check that out.
What a wonderful call to action. Thank you. We were so bad at that. So you crashed it. Ryan, parting words.
I feel like I'm on the Brady Bunch here, except it's the Clanker.
Right. Oh, we gotta come up with a song for that. The Clanker Bunch.
Just looking around at
Clanker
all the
Bunch.
builders.
Clanker Bunch, yes.
Love that.
They're all looking at each other. Yeah. The Clanker Bunch.
The Clanker Bunch.
That's the way
Clanker
we
Bunch.
became the Clanker Bunch.
Now let's all sing that together. Let's sing that together in sync.
Coin it.
Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. The Clanker
The
Bunch.
Clanker Bunch.
The
Bunch.
Clanker Bunch.
Clanker
Y'all are
Bunch.
terrible at this. What is happening right
Have
now?
we
We're
learned
gonna get
nothing?
canceled.
Have
if
we
keep
learned
doing it.
anything from Clank? Come on.
It's not a
No one knows how to count.
So good.
What is happening?
So good.
We're gonna do the sound bites, and we're gonna coin it, tokenize it, throw it up on Noice. We're gonna have a Betrmint party. What was it like? We're gonna meta time. What meta? What did I say earlier?
We're gonna
Meta.
Meta twice times 3,
Yeah.
something
Meta,
like that.
meta. We're gonna meta it all. But Ryan, please, parting words, sir. We got distracted by the Brady Bunch.
I just wanted to thank everyone on stage here, including Jesse, DWR, who already had to leave. Thank you so much to Lynn and Keith for holding it up here and for hosting and for bringing it all together. Thank you to Smoke and RachelOnchain for coming in and asking questions and being part of this with us all. And especially thank you so much to TK, Toady, Jake, Jack. You guys just it's been an honor building alongside you guys, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what we can do together going forward to just keep building this ecosystem together.
Aw, I love it. And thank you so much for everyone who has tuned in to this awesome special session with the creators and Rachel for Clank Fireside Chat. So we definitely appreciate you. Thank you again for Base and Coinbase team for allowing us to have this platform. We shall be back for our regular syndicated publication of the Tuesday is going to be Build in Public, where we are going to be building live our creators Grand Prix game that will be premiering at NFT NYC at the end of June, which we are so incredibly excited about. We will be back on Wednesday, like we always are, every Wednesday for the Base Creators Show. Both shows are at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much again. Let's heart it out and say goodbye. Yeah. We love y'all so much.
Awesome.
Jake and I have our hearts behind the camera. You can rest assured.
I feel the love.
Doing that with my mouth.
We're
sending love.
I do. I really do.
Thank you to the I think we have almost 4,000 people who tuned in. We're about to hit 4,000, I think.
Wow.
Oh, we're close, yeah.
Can we
All
applaud
right, let's
in
get back
unison?
to get back to building, everybody. We got work to do.
We have a lot
Thanks,
of work
everybody.
to do.
Clank.
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 Bye.
Clank.
Thank you.
Clank,
Bye-bye.
friends. Much love.